Hello, grade 6. Welcome to our Thursday video. Hopefully you guys are really enjoying algebra. I loved algebra as a kid. I loved it all the way through high school. I'm not going to pretend I was a mathematician when I was a kid. It was always something that was really hard. I had to really work hard at. But for some reason, I loved algebra. And I think it goes back to that Far Side cartoon. And it almost made me feel like I was doing really complex equations because there was letters involved. And maybe because I was such a movie fan growing up, every time you saw like a professor or something in a movie, they were always doing these complex equations with letters and stuff. So whenever I could figure out an algebra equation, it always made me feel so good. So I loved algebra as a kid. I love the balance of it. I love the logic of it. So I really enjoy teaching algebra, and I hope you guys are enjoying, even though it's a distance situation, I hope you're enjoying learning about it. I've also noticed with geometry, you'll see some students, and it doesn't surprise me with this class because you're such wonderful artists, they'll just take to geometry and you'll see these unbelievable things, which I saw for the unit. Just the spatial awareness. You see it a little bit in the measurement part too, as well. I think it has a lot to do with students that have such artistic gifts or that think in a certain way. They start to see three-dimensional objects and it really clicks with them. So it's interesting what will pique your interest in math. But for me, algebra was one of those ones that I loved because I don't know why exactly, but maybe some of the reasons I said to you. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Just a little continuation on today. We'll get into a little more complex equation, if you will. And with me, as always, is Berkeley, the co-star wonder dog. And she's enjoying a little bit better weather. And trust me, she doesn't look it, but she is wildly excited about algebra as well. Okay, maybe if I involved more questions about cookies. Berkeley, would you like algebra questions more if they were about cookies? Yeah, he's starting to get a little more interest there. All right, so here's what I want to work on today. All right, so the last video that we did looked at variables as symbols, okay? And knowing the creativity in this class, I know that a lot of you guys would have taken to this right away and come up with really cool questions and equations involving symbols. Of course, variables can also be letters, okay? That's what we did our first day, but we involved multiple steps, right? To balance the equation, get the variables on one side, reverse the operation, get the numbers on the other side to get our final answer. We look back at our terminology. This is the one we're focusing on this week, okay? So this idea of a variable, a quantity which during a calculation is assumed to vary or be capable of varying in value. So it's finding the unknown, which sounds great, it sounds fun. I really can't stress how much I really love algebra. And we talked a lot about the real world application. I've talked a lot about it. As I review these videos, I've probably talked too much about it. So I do edit myself in these videos. I do try and watch them and see how I can improve. But you guys get the point, right? Like just the breaking down of complexity into more basic steps is a great tool to have. So today we'll continue on with that idea. And two different types of questions. So here's one that's a real terminology question. All right, and it's really trying to stress this idea of variables. So the question says, if p plus 8 equals 14 is true, which of the following best describes the variable p? Is it 2 unknown values, 3 unknown values, 1 unknown value, many unknown values? So this is a question trying to test your knowledge of terminology. So if we know that the variables we've been using are the unknown, and if we know that in the question this is the only variable, then it's as simple as counting how many variables are here. So there is one variable here. So for the question itself, without answering it, without answering the numeric part of it, without balancing the equation, let's just answer the multiple choice. How many unknown values are there? Well, the answer would be C, one unknown value. And again, that's just a way to get you used to using variables in your terminology in math, which is really important. So that's one type of question that I wanted to show you, understanding what a variable is. Okay, and here's a second one that's a little more on pure algebra, right? So it asks a question that goes as follows. If 3 times m equals 15 and m plus w equals 11, what is the value of w? All right, so just saying that question makes me feel so smart, makes me feel like one of the professors in a Gary Larson cartoon. Again, just the beauty of algebra. So how do I solve it? All right, well, let's just take it step by step. Well, what is the only number you can times 3 by to get 15? Okay, 3 times blank equals 15. Well, I know the answer is 5. 3 times 5 equals 15, so I would just circle A and I would be done and it would be correct and excellent. I'd get a sticker, maybe some licorice, maybe. It's not right? Mr. Griffin, you have to do the whole equation? Okay, students watching the video and probably saying that, you're absolutely right. We're not done the equation because we're not trying to find the value of m. We're trying to find the value of w. So let's keep going. If 3 times m equals 15 and m plus w equals 11, what is the value of w? Well, now that we know that m equals 5, there's only one number plus 5 that gives us 11. So what is the number plus 5 that would give us 11? 5 plus 5? Nope, that doesn't work because that would be 10. 5 plus 2? Well, no, that doesn't work because that would give us 7. 5 plus 14? Nope, that would give us 19. What about 5 plus 6? Yep, that would equal 11. So what is the value of w? The value of w is 6. So you get to see the beauty, the logic, the balance of this question. Also, the challenge of it, not answering right away, reading the whole question, which is something we've preached throughout the year. So again, 2 different types of algebra question for you to look at, to practice. Again, we'll get to the assessment part, but for this week, I want you to practice on your own. The wonderful creativity in our class, we can think of some really wonderful complex equations like this. So maybe focus on questions that I have put forth today for the rest of the week. Try and practice these types of questions. If you want to go back to variables as symbols and the multi-step questions, that's fine too. Just practice as much as you can what I've taught you in algebra thus far. This one, pretty straightforward, right? You probably don't have to do too many of these, but you could do a lot of these. You could do a lot of these. I'd love to see what you guys come up with for these. Okay, practice your multiple steps and your balance, right? Isolating the variables, reversing the operation, putting the numbers on one side to get your final answer. And next week, when we get into some assessment and some other terms, you guys will be ready to go. So what might a question look like on Prodigy? First of all, we got to crank up the tunes here, the Prodigy tunes. Awesome. So exciting. Okay. All right. So here would be a question. Given the following equations, oh, I better turn it down. I don't know if you can hear my voice here. Okay, so given the following equations, what is the value of k? 2 times s equals 14. S plus k equals 12. So that's similar to a question we just did. All right, so what is the only number times 2 that would give us 14? Well, 7. 2 times 7 equals 14. But again, don't be so quick to put that as your answer because it's asking for the value of k. So if s plus k equals 12, what is the value of k? Well, we know s equals 7. What is the only number plus 7 that gives us 12? And the answer to that is 5. 7 plus 5 equals 12. So hopefully I'm right. If I'm not right, I have to redo the whole video. So I really hope I'm right. I think I am. Yes! Correct. So that's an example of a different type of question for algebra. And again, the assignments look great, guys. Keep up the awesome work. Berkeley's looking forward to the nicer weather and going outside for walkies. Oh my goodness, you want to go walkies? Yeah, I think she wants to go walkies. All right, so that's it for, oh, she's already, I think she started the car. All right, that's it for today. Keep practicing the algebra, guys. Keep up the great work. Mr. Griffin out.